Let's talk a little bit about the quarterback and what he did today. No turnovers, first and foremost. Yeah, our franchise focus. We talked a lot about on the pregame the turnover battle, and Bears did win the turnover battle 2-0 today, adding that interception late to seal the game. But Caleb finishes 17 of 23, 157 passing yards, so not quite as many as we were talking about pregame. So it's not like he lit up the scoreboard today from a passing perspective, but he was more efficient. Did get sacked 3 times. I think we're far from having things solved up front on that offensive line right now, to say the least. Pre-snap penalties continue to be a problem. I think at least one of those sacks was probably on Caleb for not recognizing the hot was coming where his hot read was, and it looked like that one that came right through, I want to say it was the B gap or the A gap, to that left side. That just, not knowing anything, seemed like that was probably on the quarterback. So still a rookie quarterback, but when you don't turn the ball over, you have a good defense. They got the running game going today, and you could still make the clutch throws we were just talking about. That's still a formula for winning and beating a team like the Rams today.
Well, if you go back to training camp, like what we saw a ton was DeAndre Swift getting the ball out of the backfield. And today we saw him get 7 catches for 72 yards, and that is taking the pressure off the quarterback. And what Caleb has talked about is he doesn't need to be the guy, but to use everything around him, which was the whole point of this season, trying to make it as soft a landing as possible. We know it hasn't been the softest with the offensive line play, but today you had a better run game. You had more guys catching the football. You were using the running back. And, to Caleb himself, we already mentioned the Cole throw, which was great. The DJ Moore throw for a touchdown was sweet. There were still some errant balls to DJ where at least for myself, I was scratching my head. How was it that off? So those guys got to get together better. But, I don't think anybody watches Caleb and doesn't think that's going to come. So I thought a huge step forward for him. And what I think I liked the most was some big smiles out there. Like the DJ catch, he's running in the end zone. He's so happy. He's patting him on the head. It just seemed like a guy really enjoying his life today, which is, of course, he should as a rookie in the NFL. But it was fun to see.
The numbers aren't going to blow you away, right? I mean, he threw for 363 yards last week, and we celebrated that with the understanding of the context behind it. Today, he only throws for 157 yards, but no turnovers.
And he completed 74% of his passes.
Exactly.
It's huge.
Exactly. 17 of 23. Efficient. Spreading the ball out. 5 different receivers, but 4 with 3 catches or more. Yeah. To your point, DeAndre Swift averaging 10 yards a catch. So finding your safety net, finding your emergency route to dump it off to, that's exactly what the doctor ordered. And overall, for me, the thing that stood out the most was his poise. Even when the pocket is collapsing, Caleb Williams remains poised. There never is a moment to me that the moment looks too big for him. He might take a sack, he might miss a read, he might miss a throw, but he doesn't look nervous in the pocket. The better they can continue to create a pocket for him, the more he's going to develop into a dynamic quarterback, and I'm excited to see that.
The scary moments are when he's in that pocket, right, and you see it collapsing, he's not moving, and, he took a huge crack to the head today. Some good hits to the shoulder, some just good hits, period.
I didn't like when he was on the bike.
Right, and then, he had them,
went into the tent,
ends up on the bike. He did look good on the bike. That was some good Peloton extravaganza.
Well,
right
they've
there.
gotten a lot of experience in training camp.
Yeah,
on those bikes.
Well, Bears are great on the bike, especially during training camp. But when his head hits the Peloton, I think he's got to feel pretty good about everything that happened.
Well, and the other thing about the 17 to 23, efficient, yes, but within the context of how he got there, they had a lot of dropbacks where you're thinking, okay, here they're dialing up the big play, and they just weren't able to hit it, but he didn't force it. And he always was taking that check down that was getting him first downs. There was a couple times he got it, then it was called back on like a hold or an illegal motion or whatever. But at the end of the day, what he's reading is high to low and then taking what the defense gives him. In his 4th game as a quarterback, and you're watching the progression here through these 4 games, you're seeing a lot of maturity for a rookie quarterback.
Go ahead.
Yes, it's been
4 games?
Yeah, but it's been 4 games, but also like in a good way. It's been 4 games. Like we're seeing maturity we're seeing rookie mistakes. I guarantee you some of those pre-snap penalties, even if you say Cole Kmet, you can't like go in motion and then explode forward too early. Like I'm still guessing something in there is probably has to do with the fact that it's a rookie quarterback.
Well, it's one or the other between the two on whose fault specifically on that play was.
Cole's not the type to have 2 false starts in a game.
Yeah, but regardless, but that's the overall point I'm making. Is it's like somewhere, and Mark Sanchez was making this point during the broadcast. He's like, the pre-snap penalties, like that's part of the quarterback's job. Like you have to accept responsibility for that at some point, whether it's when it's become a problem, which it's obviously been. And we spent so much time about cadences and the OTAs. It started up again when training camp started, and now we're seeing it carry over to the games. We should not be surprised by that. But I'm not bringing all that up to, like, kill the guy over it. These are the types of things that you can live with to a point as long as it gets better. Okay, so I deem blitzers, pre-snap penalties. These are going to happen when you're a rookie quarterback in the NFL. But if you can keep it within reason, learn from all this stuff, and most importantly, have a high completion percentage and not turn the ball over along the way, you're still going to have a chance to win football games.
Especially with this defense,
yes.
Right?
Well, yes, and the greatest punter of all time.
And the greatest I mean, seriously, though. I mean, like, that's...
Of all time.
Of all time.
Yeah, I mean, that's settled through 4 weeks, right?
We all silly like the mayor.